2001, I guess, 2001, my editor at Vocalist magazine, Eileen Cooper, I was a publishing assistant at the time. I mostly typed ISBN numbers into a database. I was, as Eileen and her husband Bill are here today, and they will tell you that I was a terrible publishing assistant. Truly bad at my job. I really appreciate them keeping me around. And I was a great example of the principle that if you are really bad at your job, but reasonably fun to hang out with, you will eventually get promoted. So that they won't have you in that job that you're bad at anymore, and maybe you can be in a job that you're a little bit better at. But I went out to lunch with Eileen Cooper, and I told her that I wanted to write a book, and I told her a little bit about the book, and she was generous enough to say that it sounded good, and then generous enough to give me deadlines that I failed to meet, and more deadlines and more deadlines and more deadlines, until finally I gave her something that she could read, and then she was generous enough to say that it didn't suck. But that it needed a lot of work. Much of that work she did with me, and in that process, she wrote many parts of Looking for Alaska. I remember there's a part where Alaska flicks a cigarette ash into a pencil holder. Eileen wrote that. That was her idea. It's a great little moment in the book. There's a moment early on in the book that is so popular that a lot of people had it tattooed on their bodies. It's very strange. There are probably people here with those tattoos, so I'm grateful, but as long as you're happy with it in the future, as long as future you is as happy with it as current you, I'm okay with it. I'm just worried about future you. But there's a moment early in the book when Alaska says, imagining the future is a kind of nostalgia. Well, that's something that the woman who became my wife said to me on our first date. There are moments in the book, my friends from high school will be happy to tell you how much they contributed to the book. How many things they did that I, as they would say, stole. And that is all true. It is true that many people, I remember my friend Ben Sagan, who I worked with at Booklist, told me a joke once that I went home and wrote down in Looking for Alaska. I'm completely shameless about this, and I think that writers must be.